It is 3 in the morning. You have fed them, changed them, rocked them, shushed them, and checked everything you can think of. And your baby is still crying. Not slowing down. Not settling. Just crying. And somewhere in the back of your exhausted mind, a thought creeps in. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Here is the answer, and it may surprise you. You are probably not doing anything wrong at all. Your baby is crying because they are biologically designed to. And once you understand the 5 reasons science has identified behind infant crying, those 3 a.m. moments will never feel quite as overwhelming again. In this video we are going to walk through each of the 5 biological reasons your baby cries, what is actually happening in their brain and body during each one, what it looks, sounds, and feels like, and what the research tells us you can do in response. This is not about silencing your baby. Babies are supposed to cry. Crying is their only language right now, and every single cry is a message. Our job, together, is to learn how to read it. By the end of this video, you will not just be guessing. You will know. Researchers in infant psychology, including landmark studies from Dr. Ronald Barr at the University of British Columbia, have confirmed that infant crying is not random. It is a neurological signal system. Your baby's brain is wired from birth to produce specific cry patterns in response to specific internal states. Every cry has a cause. There are 5 of them. Reason number 1, hunger. This is the most common cause of crying in the first months of life, and it is also the most rhythmically predictable. Hunger crying tends to build gradually. It often starts as a low whimper, increases in intensity, and has a repetitive, pulsing quality to it. Researchers describe it as having a clear pattern: cry, pause, cry, pause. What is happening biologically is simple. A drop in blood sugar triggers the hypothalamus, the part of your baby's brain that regulates survival needs, to send a distress signal. That signal becomes a cry. The tell: your baby may turn their head side to side, open their mouth, or bring their fist toward their face. These are rooting reflexes, and they almost always accompany a hunger cry. If you see this alongside the crying, feed first and ask questions later. Reason number 2, pain and physical discomfort. This is the cry that stops parents cold, because it sounds different. It arrives suddenly, at a higher pitch, and it does not have the rhythmic pattern of a hunger cry. It is sharp and urgent, and it often makes the parent's own heart rate spike, which is not an accident. Research shows that the pain cry is biologically calibrated to trigger an immediate stress response in the caregiver. Your body is designed to react. The most common source of pain crying in infants is gas and colic. Gas builds in the immature digestive system and causes real, sharp discomfort. A baby experiencing gas will often pull their legs toward their belly, arch their back, or clench their fists hard. Colic, defined as crying for more than 3 hours a day, more than 3 days a week, affects roughly 1 in 5 babies. The exact cause is still debated in the research, but current evidence points to gut microbiome immaturity and heightened neurological sensitivity. It is not caused by bad parenting. It is a biological phase, and it passes. If you suspect gas, the research supports a few responses. Gentle counterclockwise abdominal massage, bicycle leg movements, and the prone position, holding your baby face down along your forearm, have all shown effectiveness in reducing gas discomfort in peer-reviewed trials. Warmth on the belly also helps. A warm bath, or simply holding your baby belly to belly against your own warm chest. Reason number 3, the need for closeness and human contact. This is the reason that makes some parents feel guilty, as if they are somehow creating a problem by responding to it. The science says the opposite. Your baby is not being manipulative. They do not have the neurological development for that yet. What they have is a deep, biological attachment drive, rooted in millions of years of evolution. A baby who is separated from a caregiver sends a distress signal. That signal is a cry. Research from the field of attachment theory, originally developed by John Bowlby and later expanded by Mary Ainsworth, has consistently shown that babies who receive prompt, warm responses to their cries develop greater emotional security over time, not more dependency. You cannot spoil a baby under 6 months by holding them. That is not an opinion. That is the consensus of decades of developmental research. Skin-to-skin contact specifically triggers a release of oxytocin in both baby and caregiver, reduces cortisol levels in the infant, and regulates their heart rate and breathing. Your arms are, biologically, medicine. Reason number 4, overstimulation. This one is underdiagnosed and misunderstood by a surprising number of parents, and it is responsible for a huge proportion of the "I have no idea why she is crying" moments. Your baby's nervous system is immature. The filtering mechanism that allows adults to tune out background noise, bright lights, unfamiliar faces, and sensory input is not yet developed in an infant. Everything comes in at full volume. When the input becomes too much, the nervous system overloads, and the only release valve available is crying. Overstimulation often happens in social situations, family gatherings, shopping centers, loud environments, and it can look like it came from nowhere, because to you, nothing changed. But to your baby's nervous system, everything was already too loud, too bright, and too much. The response here is removal and regulation. Move your baby to a quieter, dimmer environment. Reduce input. A dark room, a gentle rhythm, and your steady voice are often enough to bring an overstimulated nervous system back to baseline within a few minutes. Baby wearing, keeping your baby close against your body, is particularly effective. Studies show that worn babies cry significantly less and regulate faster after overstimulation events. Reason number 5, tiredness and sleep pressure. Tired crying is one of the most important to recognize early, because of a counterintuitive but well-documented phenomenon in sleep science. The longer a baby stays awake past their sleep window, the harder it becomes for them to fall asleep, and the more intensely they cry. This happens because of cortisol. When a baby is kept awake past the point of tiredness, the body releases cortisol as a stress response. Cortisol is a stimulant. It makes the nervous system more aroused, not less. So the baby who needed sleep an hour ago is now wired and screaming, and nothing is working because their own stress hormones are fighting sleep. Tired crying tends to have a grinding, whiny quality. Your baby may rub their eyes, pull at their ears, or go glassy-eyed and then suddenly dissolve. These are your window. The moment you see those signs, begin the wind down. Do not wait for the cry. By the time the cry arrives, the window is closing. Now, here is what this all means for you, in the real world, at 2 a.m. when none of this feels like a biology lesson. It means that when your baby cries and you cannot figure out why, you are not failing. You are dealing with an immature neurological system that is doing exactly what it is designed to do. Your baby is not broken. You are not broken. You are both in the middle of a biological process that is ancient and normal and, yes, genuinely exhausting. Knowing these 5 reasons does not make the crying stop. But it changes what you think when it starts. And that changes everything about how you respond. A calm caregiver, even a tired one, regulates a crying baby far more effectively than a panicked one. That is not pressure. That is permission. Permission to take a breath first. So what does this look like in practice? Here is a simple framework you can actually use in a crying moment, based on the 5 reasons we covered. First, run the checklist in order. Hunger is the most common cause, so check it first. If the last feed was more than 2 hours ago, feed. If feeding does not settle them, move to discomfort, check for gas, try the bicycle legs, try the belly massage. Second, if feeding and comfort do not help, ask yourself about the environment. Have you been out, at a gathering, in a stimulating place? Is there noise, light, activity around them? If so, remove them from it. Take them somewhere quiet and dim and stay close. Third, look for tiredness cues. If your baby is showing eye rubbing, ear pulling, or that glazed look we talked about, your window is now. Dim the lights, reduce stimulation, and begin your sleep routine immediately. Do not try to play them out of it. That makes it worse. Fourth, check yourself. This is not a small thing. Research published in the journal Infant Behavior and Development found a direct correlation between caregiver heart rate and infant cortisol levels during crying episodes. In simple terms, your baby reads your stress. If you are spiraling, they spiral further. If you can take one slow breath, so can they. This does not mean be perfect. It means even a partial reset on your end has a measurable effect on theirs. If you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, put your baby down somewhere safe, step back for 60 seconds, and breathe. 60 seconds of regulated breathing will not harm your baby. It will make you a better responder when you return. This is not abandonment. This is smart caregiving, and the research supports it. Before we close, let us talk about 2 common responses to infant crying that are well-intentioned but work against the biology we just covered. The first is waiting it out with a very young baby, under 4 months, in the hope that they will self-soothe. Self-soothing is a developmental skill that requires neurological maturity. A baby under 4 months does not have that maturity yet. Leaving a very young infant to cry alone for extended periods does not teach independence. What the research shows is that it elevates cortisol without resolution, which is a stress response without comfort. Responding promptly to a young baby's cries is not creating bad habits. It is meeting a biological need. The second is assuming that if you cannot identify the reason, something must be seriously wrong. In most cases it is not. Sometimes babies cycle through all 5 reasons in 40 minutes. Sometimes the reason is simply that the nervous system needs time to complete a regulatory cycle, and no action on your part will accelerate that. In those moments, the most powerful thing you can do is stay present, stay calm, and keep your voice low and steady. You do not have to fix it. You just have to be there. Before we go, I want to say something directly to you. If you have ever stood in a dark room at 2 a.m., swaying, exhausted, whispering please, please, please to a baby who will not stop crying, I want you to hear this. You were not failing. You were exactly where you were supposed to be. Research confirms that the single most important factor in an infant's long-term emotional development is not perfect technique. It is consistent, loving presence. And you were there. Every time you got up. Every time you went back in. Every time you tried something new when the last thing stopped working, that was not nothing. That was everything. You are not just surviving this. You are building something. Every response, every return, every moment of calm you manage to find in the middle of the storm, you are building your baby's sense of safety in the world. That is the most important work any human being can do. You are enough. You have always been enough. If this video helped you understand your baby a little better tonight, please subscribe so you never miss what comes next. Every week we go deeper into the science of your child's mind, and every week it gets a little clearer.